Hello and welcome to the Inside Stylist podcast. I'm Emma Morton-Turner and you're listening to episode 24, the top 15 tech gear interior stylists can't work without. So this episode is actually my top 15, but I'm thinking there'll be some crossover in what people use, and maybe there's one or two that you haven't heard of that will be massively useful. At least I hope that they will. I'm just going to get started straight away. I'm going to talk through kind of different areas of interior styling and where I use this kind of tech gear or apps or just things that are very useful for my work. And I'm talking about freelance, but I think it works whether you're in-house or freelance. Anyway, I'm going to get cracking on. The first stage of any job is the planning. And I have to say, I'm a paper planner sort of a person. I bought a very expensive planner in January and it has been brilliant. I quite like flicking back and seeing what I've done in previous months. But I do like to have a list and I like to cross it off. So although it's not techie, my first essential piece of kit is always my planner. But when it comes to tech stuff, it's pretty obvious. But number one is email. And when I went freelance, I always had like a Gmail account. You kind of have a work account and then you have your Gmail account knocking around in the background. And I actually, you have your website set up with your portfolio. So I had my emmamortonturner.com, and with that came an email. So I used that as my personal email, but I wanted everything to run through one place. So I set it all up on Gmail, and forwarding emails is just brilliant. So I've got my old Gmail, my emma@emmamortonturner.com goes through my Gmail. All my Inside Stylist emails, all my blog emails, everything goes through Gmail. And just to have it all in one place is brilliant. You can literally send emails from different accounts in one Gmail account. And I think that's just invaluable. I'm sure there's a limit to how many you can have. I think I've only got four or five emails running through my Gmail account at the moment. But I can't imagine doing it in any other way. It's just so versatile. And also having your calendar linked up to it. And yeah, just Gmail email is definitely my number one must have. And in the same sort of plane, number two is Google Chrome. I've spoken to a few stylists and they don't use Chrome, they just use Google. And actually Google Chrome was an absolute game changer for me. I found the same web addresses all the time. And I thought if I just group things together in files, it will make my life so much easier. Also, if I'm working on a job and I want to save places I've Googled for, maybe I'm looking for something a bit random, I can just create a file on my top address bar and have a pull down menu with everything on it. But when I was very first starting out, I would have a work one, and underneath work there'd be locations and all the links to those locations, all the prop houses, and a biggie was the image libraries. So I would just have a drop down menu with the image libraries. I'd sign into everything and then I'd save them all on that Google Chrome file. And that was brilliant. And actually that's one of the things that gave me the idea for the image bank on Inside Stylists. It's just having all those people all together at the same place. I don't know if you know there's an image bank on Inside Stylists. I will share the link in the show notes so you can see. It's kind of in a beginning stage at the moment, but people are starting to sign up to that. So that's very useful. A bit like Google Chrome, push one button and everyone's there in one place. But yeah, Google Chrome is just brilliant. Love it. Can't imagine not having it. And actually, when I got a new laptop, I had to save all the same folders in exactly the same place so I can go to them really quickly and easily. Does everybody use Google Chrome? Let me know if you use Google Chrome. I'd be really interested to hear. Something else I've mentioned quite a few times on the podcast is Canva. Canva is a designing app, and I don't have Photoshop. And when I've ever tried to do simple things like my kids' invites or mood boards, it's really hard to get things you can't layer them up like you can in Photoshop. And it's really hard to do that in like a Pages document. But Canva allows you to do words and copy over the top of images. You can make them transparent. I've done my rate card on Canva. So I've made an image really transparent. So it's like at 10-15%. So you can just see there's a room behind there and all the copy goes on top. You can put it in all the copy in boxes. I do practically everything. In fact, I do everything. All the artwork for these podcasts, for blog posts, all of it is done on Canva. I've also done mood boards. I do when you have to send ideas off to clients and they want to see lots of ideas, I do all of that in Canva, and I send like these 20-page documents off. But Canva is absolutely brilliant for everything. Mood boards, presentations, blog posts, the lot. All your design needs in one free. You can actually do it on your phone. I've never done it on my phone. I always do it on my computer, but it's an app basically. And the last thing for planning, number 4, is Amazon Prime. So I got Amazon Prime a few years ago, probably about 3 or 4 years ago. And I was saying that I wanted to get it so that if there was any last minute products I needed to call in for jobs that, the last job I was on is a perfect example. Everything changed at the last minute. They wanted one, then they wanted extras. And it was just a whole, I haven't got time to do this. Actually, you can't really say, well, I'm going camping on Friday, so I haven't got time. So you have to order things for next day delivery quite often. And that has actually been massively valuable. So Amazon Prime has been brilliant. The fact that I'm watching TV at the same time is just a bonus. If you're sitting crafting, you need to be able to watch a bit of TV, I think. So Amazon Prime next day delivery is what I've got it for. TV is a bonus. Moving on to shoots, the tech I can't do without. There's a couple here. Trainline.com has been brilliant. That's my number 5. Just so you can kind of get an idea of how much things are going to be, and booking tickets. Driving up to Wolverhampton is one thing, but if you've got to go up for the day, or Birmingham or Manchester, I know a lot of people work in Manchester, just getting the train sorted out on Trainline is brilliant, and knowing what time they're coming in, and also being able to just use what's it called, QVS? Whatever those codes are called, the code, you can just literally scan your code now onto the barriers. You don't even have to print off your documents, which is a nightmare trying to print them off and then go and pick up your tickets and everything. Now you can just do it from the app, and it's brilliant. And anyone who knows me will know I am directionally challenged. That phrase was named for me. I am a nightmare with directions. So I use Waze when I'm driving to shoots, and it's brilliant because you can plan where you're going the night before. You can just put it into your phone and you can tell it what time you need to be there, and it will tell you what time you need to leave. Admittedly, I always try and leave a lot earlier than it says because you know you're going to hit more traffic than it's allowing for. But it's a really easy to follow app. I found I was using Google Maps for quite a long time, but the screen just looked too small and I couldn't really see where it was going. It just wasn't very clear, whereas Waze is brilliant. It does suck the life out of your phone. So you do kind of, if you're going on a long journey, you need to be plugged in and charging at the same time. Otherwise you get halfway and you can't get home again. But it's brilliant. It's the best app I've used for directions when I'm driving. Number 7 for when I'm on a shoot is Spotify. So I like music, but I'm not really massively into it. But my daughter Darcy is, and both my daughters are really into music, but my daughter Darcy is really into music. So not long ago we got Spotify, but I have to say that practically every photographer I work with has Spotify or some form of music app on their computer. Because there's something about shooting Christmas on the hottest days of the year that you need your Christmas tunes. So there's been quite a lot of that, and there's been people who've got, like when I did some work in a studio up in Halifax, the photographer had some fantastic music. He had like a real mixtape sort of thing of 80s and 90s music. It was quite good fun listening to all these songs you hadn't listened to, like really random bands, like Ugly Kid Joe and I don't know, all those sorts of old nostalgic bands. And it's really good to have music on a shoot because quite often there'll be some setup and you don't want to touch someone's what they called Sonos gear and linking up to other people's if it's not always possible. It's good to have Spotify. And also there's been a couple of times I've done talking table shoots and we've had lots of people and it's a party atmosphere. You cannot do a party atmosphere shoot without music. So, put a bit of Katy Perry or Taylor Swift on and these people will dance with the champagne in their hands. So, yeah, definitely Spotify. Moving on to paperwork. Oh, we all love paperwork, don't we? Love paperwork. So, number 9 would be online accountancy. So I've been doing my own tax return for quite a long time. And if you've listened to episode 6 with my brother-in-law, John Falcon, he's an accountant. He advised me to use an online accountancy package. He's always used Free Agent and showed me how to use it. And it was just really straightforward because before that I was trying to document everything in an Excel sheet. It was really easy to lose. I had to keep going in and adding things manually. well, I still add things manually, but I use Free Agent and it's brilliant. I do an invoice and it gets sent off to the client and then it's stored on my system. And then when it comes to my tax return, all of the income I've earned and all the expenses for that job are all kind of already collated, and it makes life so easy. I absolutely love Free Agent. Also, things you can do is like if you've got one client, you can see how much work you've done for them. Free Agent now tells you which are the slowest paying clients, which I think we probably already know before we even get to them. We don't need to look. We know who doesn't pay. Actually, I've got a 10% discount for Free Agent, which I'll link through to. I've written a post about accountancy in the resources on Inside Stylists. I'll link through to that. But there is a 10% discount code for anyone who's looking for accountancy packaging at the moment. It's an affiliate link, so I think you get 10% off, I get 10% off, something like that. But it's really good. I absolutely love it. It's made my life so easy. I can really understand how to use it, which is great. Anything that's pretty simple and straightforward and isn't just another chore is brilliant. But there's loads of other ones. There's Quickbooks, there's Wow, there's Xero. On that resources page I'm talking about, there's a few people have recommended who they use, like other accountants as well. So it's just worth looking at. But yeah, online accountancy is just essential. Number 9 is Tiny Scanner, and that's an app that I have on my phone, and when I scan all my receipts that I send through with my invoice, I literally just put a piece of A4 paper down and then put all the receipts on top, and then Tiny Scanner will scan that piece of A4 paper and turn it into a PDF. And you can imagine if I've done a really big job, I might have 10 pieces of paper on the floor, all with the receipts on top. But it literally will send those 10 pages as one PDF. You kind of email that scan to yourself and then you can send it as a document with your invoice. So it's brilliant. But also it's great for things like if you need to have a picture of a document or you need just to take pictures of paper. It's really useful, and it will you can store it on your phone. It does take up quite a lot of space, but you can store it on your phone and then email it to yourself and you have a record of it. It's just brilliant. I paid for that app. I think it was like $4.99, but it's just really quick and easy to use. Makes life so much quicker and easier than scanning in on a printer, which was very temperamental. This is like bish bash bosh done. Number 10 is online banking. It's another no-brainer, but gosh, online banking just makes life so much easier when you need to just check and see if someone's paid, or you just need to see where you're at with everything. Just be lost without online banking. I hate having to go into the bank. Moving on to press launches, I got recommended City Mapper by Ali Attenborough, and I can't tell you how fantastic. I think it's probably one of my favourite apps. Again, no sense of direction, and walking through the streets of London, even with City Mapper and you push a button, it tells you the direction you need to walk in. I can still get lost, but not quite as bad as before. And the great thing of it is I can be at home and I can say, right, I'm going to the music rooms, and it will tell me which bus I need to take, which train. From after that bus, you get this train, and after this train, you get this tube. And it literally maps out the whole journey. Knowing how late things are, I can sit on the train on the way home and see how long it is till the bus, whether I need to run up the stairs of the train station or whether I can just mosey on through slowly. And it's absolutely fantastic. Love it. Would be lost without it. So thanks for that, Ali. Number 12, we're already at number 12, is a charger. How crap are phones at the moment? They just don't last the whole day. And if you're going to use things like City Mapper or Waze, you're going to need to charge your phone in the middle of the day. They're just not made to last. So number 12 is a charger. Now I had a charger that was absolutely fantastic. It lasted 4 full charges, and I've bought some since that aren't so good. I know the Juice chargers are really good though, but any charger, essential tech if you're going into London. Moving on to social media. I'm not going to go too long about social media. I think we're all on it in some description. I think Facebook would be a biggie. I'm going to give that as my number 13. My lucky for some number 13. without Facebook, I probably wouldn't be doing this podcast. I wouldn't have the Facebook group for interior stylist writers and assistants. I think everyone's found it very useful. So Facebook is an essential for me, and I'm hoping for people who are in that group, they see it as an essential too. I'm just going to say that. And number 14, I want to say Instagram, but I don't think it's that Instagram is the essential. I want to say that if you use Instagram, then a great app is HishHash, which Lisa Dawson told me about when she was on the podcast, and she was episode 17. HishHash, oh, it goes so hard to say. HishHash, link in the show notes, is it's like it stores loads of different hashtags in one place. So you can kind of just click on this button, it will shuffle them up. I mean, Lisa did say this in the episode, but I've been using it ever since, and it's really great. You can kind of look at how many people use that hashtag, decide whether you want to add it to this collection of hashtags you've named. So you might do one for interiors, you might do one for paint, you might do one for living rooms, and then when you want to reuse it, you just click on the living room button and then push shuffle hashtags, and it will change the order of them so that it's one of those things to stop you looking like a bot. If you use the same hashtags in the same order all the time, Instagram might think that it's a robot and might shadow ban you, which none of us want. So I've been using HishHash and it's been brilliant. So I thought it was worth mentioning again. Last one, number 15 already, is the podcast app. Now, obviously, I'm going to say that, self-promotion and all that, but I do a lot of walking to and from stations. I do a lot of dog walking as well, so that's not exactly work related, but I love to listen to podcasts. I love to be inspired by them. I love to get new information, which I hope is what you're getting from this one. So the podcast app is essential. If you don't have it, you should get it on your phone, and you can subscribe to this podcast. And then if you subscribe, you can always rate and review it, which would be great. But the podcast app is just brilliant. Actually, I'm now on iHeartRadio, which is quite, I think I put this podcast forward for iHeartRadio when I launched it. So we're on episode 24? It's taken forever, but I got a little email today saying that we'd been okay to be on iHeartRadio. So that's really cool. I think it's American though. I don't know if anyone listens to iHeartRadio. But anyway, I'm waffling now. I'm going to give one extra techie thing. I'm going to give you Calm. Calm is a meditating app, and I've been talking about this quite a bit. If anyone follows me on Instagram, they'll know that I had a bit of a car issue where my car clutch went while I was driving on the A21, going quite fast surrounded by lorries. And when it happened, I put my foot down, and when I lifted my foot up, nothing happened, and I was out of gear, surrounded by lorries, going really fast. Really should have been a little bit more panicked. And I'm sure that I was calm and didn't panic because I had done this meditating. And I don't meditate all the time. In fact, I can't remember the last time I meditated, but I do yoga, and that is meditation. And I think that the whole continuing to be calm on a regular basis is why I didn't crash my car. But the Calm app is really good for kind of just giving you a breather, and they do meditating that's just 5 minutes. And I kind of started with that and then moved on to yoga. So I'm just throwing it in there for if you get really stressy and things feel like they're getting too much. The Calm app is a really good, it's a guided meditation. So she'll just talk very gently to you. I'm also going to add in here that people say they can't meditate because they can't clear their minds. Well, I seriously can't sit still for 2 seconds, but meditation isn't about that. It's virtually impossible to clear your mind. So you just have to kind of give yourself a break from it. I'm really waffling now, so I think I'm probably going to end it there. Anyway, Calm app is absolutely fantastic. So that's it. That's my 15 plus a planner and one extra for free. I hope it's been useful. I hope it's something that people have found there's one or two in there that they haven't used before and they love. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't. If you've got an app or a piece of software or a techie thing that you think is essential as a stylist, then I would love to know. You can leave comments in the show notes, or you can leave a message on the comments on Instagram. You know all the places where you can find us, and if you can't, just pop over to the show notes. So that's it. Another short, sharp, quick week. I hope you've enjoyed it. But until next time, bye for now.